If you're a leader, you know that good data is everything. But let's be honest, the real trick isn't just getting data, it's turning all that noise into clear, confident decisions. Today, we're going to demystify one of the most powerful tools for doing exactly that, the data warehouse.
So have you ever been in a meeting and a question like this just stops everything cold? It's beyond frustrating, right? The sales numbers look great, but the bottom line is telling a completely different story. You just know the answer is buried in the data somewhere, but for the life of you, you can't seem to connect the dots.
And here's usually where the problem lies. Your sales team has its data, the marketing team has theirs, and of course, finance is working off a totally different set of spreadsheets. So when everyone is pulling numbers from their own little island, what do you get? You get conflicting reports, you get endless debates in meetings, and you get absolutely zero clarity. You're drowning in data, but you're starving for real answers.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get everybody on the same page, looking at the exact same information? Well, what we need to do is build a single source of truth for the entire organization.
And this is where the data warehouse makes its grand entrance. The easiest way to think about it is like a central library for all of your company's most important historical information. This isn't about running the day-to-day operations. No, this is built specifically for analysis, for asking those big strategic questions.
This visual just nails that core idea perfectly. You've got your data sources from Chicago, New York, and Toronto all operating separately. The data warehouse's job is to reach out, pull all of that scattered info together, and put it into one unified, consistent place where you can finally start to analyze it properly.
And what really gives a data warehouse its superpowers are these 4 core characteristics. First, it's subject-oriented, which just means you're looking at all your sales data in one place, without all the operational noise. Second, it's integrated. This is huge. It means Q1 means the same thing to every single department. It's time variant, which is a fancy way of saying it holds years and years of history, so you can actually spot long-term trends. And maybe most important, it's non-volatile. Once data goes in, it doesn't get changed or deleted. It creates this permanent, unchangeable record of your business, which is exactly what you need for accurate year-over-year comparisons.
So, we have a central place for our data. Fantastic. Job done, right? Well, not so fast. Just because all the data is in one bucket doesn't mean it's ready to use. Now comes the really critical part, making sure it's clean, accurate, and actually trustworthy.
And this quote right here just gets to the heart of it. Real-world data is messy. It's got gaps, it's got typos, it's got all sorts of inconsistencies. Trying to make a major business decision based on this kind of dirty data, that's like building a house on a shaky foundation. You have to have a process to clean it up first.
And that process is called ETL. It's a pretty straightforward 3-step method. First, you extract the raw data from all your different systems. You just grab it. Then comes the hero of the story, the transform step. This is where all the magic happens. The data gets cleaned up, duplicates get tossed out, and everything is put into a nice standard format. I like to think of it as an expert librarian taking a chaotic pile of books and perfectly organizing them. And finally, you load that pristine, organized data into the warehouse.
The whole point of that ETL process is to guarantee data quality. You need it to be accurate so you can actually trust the numbers you're seeing. It has to be complete so you're not making a big decision with a huge blind spot. It has to be consistent so the revenue number from finance actually matches the report from sales. And of course, it needs to be timely because old data can lead to bad decisions. This high-quality foundation is absolutely essential for making reliable executive decisions and building forecasts you can bet on.
Okay, so the data is in the warehouse, we've cleaned it up, we've built a foundation of trust. Now for the fun part. It's time to actually explore that data and find all the hidden stories and opportunities just waiting inside your business.
The engine that makes all this exploration possible is called OLAP, or Online Analytical Processing. You could just think of it as the technology that lets you play with your data, ask really complex questions, and get answers back in seconds. And it does this by organizing your data in a really intuitive way, as a multidimensional data cube. And this image is the perfect illustration of what we mean. Imagine a Rubik's Cube, but for your business. On one face, you've got your products. On another, you have time periods. And on the third, you have all your locations. Each tiny little block inside that cube holds a specific piece of data, like, say, the sales of security systems in Vancouver during Q1. Now you can start twisting and turning this cube to see your business from every possible angle.
So, one of the first things you'll probably do is something called a roll-up. This is basically just zooming out to get the big picture. Instead of getting bogged down looking at every individual city, you can instantly roll up that data to see the total for the entire country.
Looking at the diagram here, you can see exactly how this works. All the detailed sales numbers from Chicago, New York, and all the other cities are just rolled up into a single high-level summary for the USA. It takes complexity and makes it simple, giving you that clear top-line view.
Now, the opposite of a roll-up is a drill down. This is your investigation tool. This is how you play detective with your data. You see a number that looks interesting. Maybe Q1 sales were way higher than expected, and you want to know why. So you drill down to see the monthly or even weekly numbers that make up that total.
And right here on the slide, you see it in action. That big summary number for Q1 gets broken down into its parts: January, February, and March. This is how you stop asking what happened and start figuring out why it happened. And maybe you discover a massive spike in February came from one specific marketing campaign. Boom, that's a hidden trend you just uncovered.
And you've got even more ways to explore. A slice is like taking one clean cut through the data cube, so you can look at all your sales data, but only for Q1. A dice is even more specific. That's where you select a little block from 2 or more dimensions to ask those super specific questions like, show me the sales for computers but only in Chicago and only during Q1.
Okay, let's bring this all home. The main point is this: we've gone from messy, scattered data to this powerful, interactive model of our business. So now, let's talk about the real-world strategic payoff for having this kind of power at your fingertips.
This table does a great job of separating the two worlds of data. Over on one side, you have OLTP systems. These are the databases that run your business every single day, processing transactions, that kind of thing. On the other side, you've got your data warehouse, powered by OLAP. Its entire purpose is strategic, planning, analyzing, and supporting high-level decisions. It's really the difference between running the business and steering the business.
And this all leads to some very real, tangible payoffs. Your sales analysis gets razor sharp because you can finally identify your top products and regions. Financial reporting gets way easier because everyone is finally working from the same trusted numbers. You can optimize your supply chain by drilling down into supplier performance. Even your market research gets a boost. But all of this rolls up to the most important thing: giving executives clear, confident, data-backed insights to make better strategic decisions.
Ultimately, a data warehouse isn't just about storing a ton of data. It's about giving your data a voice. It's about creating a space where you can ask the questions that really matter and get clear answers back. So I guess the only question left is, what stories are hidden inside your data? And are you ready to finally listen?